Hi, I'm Marce from the Wine Society, and I want to talk a little bit about our new bin series wine. This is bin number 15? Yeah, it's 15. And it's quite exciting because this is about, not about a region as such, but about a grape variety, and a grape variety that I think is going to grow in importance, especially in the south of France and around the Mediterranean. It's one that you may have heard of, but I doubt very much if many of you will have ever tasted it on its own. The grape variety is called Cinsault. It originates from the Languedoc, I think. It's grown south of France, the Rhone Valley, Provence, and it's exported to South Africa, where it's often confused with Pinot Noir. I'll come back to that later. And it's a very important part of Chateau Mouzard in the Lebanon. And that might give you an idea of why Cinsault is important. It's a grape variety that works really well in drought and heat. And as you all know, at the moment in all of Southern Europe, they're suffering a heat wave. And I can tell you this, that the 2023 vintage, whatever it'll be, will be a great Cinsault vintage, because Cinsault will thrive in the drought and in the heat. Now, it's a grape variety that's not as well known, maybe because it isn't an easy grape variety to grow. It needs careful attention. It can produce very high yields. And when it produces very high yields, it doesn't actually taste of anything. So people have tended to prefer growing grapes like Syrah, like Mourvèdre, or others which have more obvious character. Cinsault doesn't quite. Cinsault is all about delicacy and finesse. It's not about colour either. It's usually quite pale, hence the confusion with Pinot Noir. But it's fragrant, it's beautiful. And curiously enough, if I had to name one single wine that I've tasted in my working life that has struck me most, well, it was a pure Cinsault from Châteauneuf-du-Pape. So this is bin 15, pure Cinsault. It doesn't come from Châteauneuf-du-Pape, it comes from the Languedoc, and particularly from Corbière, which is right down in the kind of facing the Pyrenees almost. It's grown on quite limestony soil, and it does extremely well. It comes from a single estate called Château Olieu-Romanus, with whom we work quite closely. They do the Society's Corbière. So this one could have been an element in the Society's Corbière, but they produced a Cinsault on its own. And I think it's absolutely brilliant. The other great thing about Cinsault is that it doesn't yield that much sugar. So there's often a debate in the south of France about high alcohol. And you have grape varieties like Grenache and even Syrah that can produce very high alcoholic degrees. Cinsault doesn't. Cinsault ripens fully and at about 12.5 to 13. It very rarely exceeds 13. So it's a huge benefit. And I think in the future, Cinsault is going to be an important grape variety to grow. Maybe not on its own, maybe in blends with Grenache and others, but it has its place. Not that long ago, I did a blend of Exhibition Gigondas, and in Gigondas, Cinsault definitely has a place. It makes Gigondas fine, it gives it finesse. So what I'm going to do with our Cinsault is open it, so you can see the colour. Screw cap, I think, is so easy. And hang on, what should I do with that? Put that there. I know it's only about 10 o'clock in the morning, but why not? So, Cinsault colour-wise, so it's not particularly deep. It's sort of fairly light. And it's got that absolutely wonderful fragrance, smell of sort of flowers and red fruit. Absolutely beautiful. Another great feature about Cinsault is it doesn't oxidize easily. And this is one reason why at Olio Romanis they made this as a natural wine. In other words, it doesn't actually have that much sulfur. So what you get is very clean, very pure fruit. Delicious. It can be drunk like this or slightly chilled. Absolutely perfect. Very low tannins, very smooth, very soft. What not to like?